There's something I've noticed in the past maybe 3 or 4 days that has really been bugging me, and I want to talk about it to you guys because I know there's a lot of people who suffer from something similar. And forgive me if I stutter or if I pause because I'm just going to go straight off the cuff. I'm not going to be editing this video, so I'm probably going to take seconds to pause. But let me get to the point here. What I'm talking about is paralysis. It is like a mental paralysis that borderlines on physical symptoms. It's the feeling that you cannot move or should not move, and moving in any direction is the wrong direction. And this feeling it's very strange when I say it out loud because it seems quite unreal that you could feel paralyzed, although you're not. Nothing is paralyzing you. And forgive me, I have mosquito bites itching my arm. But it's not that anything is physically restraining you. It's not that there's any reason that you can't move or you can't really do something, but there is. There is a feeling, there is thoughts, there are things that are so powerfully real in your mind that you don't want to move anymore. And for some people that can look like staying in bed all day until late, not getting up. They're paralyzed by something, by this unknown force. And I want to try and make this as organized as possible. So I'm going to break up this video into 3 different, main topics. And first I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about what kind of symptoms I was feeling in this kind of paralyzation of thought and how powerful it felt. And I have notes because, I like to be organized, and also I'm not going to remember all this. But yeah, quick glance there. I felt extreme anxiety, shortness of breath, the feeling like my chest was really tight. I struggled. It literally, this is the feeling that I felt the most consistently. The most consistent feeling really was my skin and my bones and my body felt like it was actually burning, which sounds so crazy. But when I get the shortness of breath, the tightness in my chest and everything else, felt like I was actually on fire. I know it sounds like I'm being crazy here, but just believe what I'm saying here for a second. Okay. And what I was noticing, I was kind of looking at, okay, well, what was triggering this? What was making me feel all of this, not wanting to move, not wanting to do anything? And it's this thought of overwhelm, right? Insurmountable tasks. There's just so much happening, so much to do that I cannot do and I cannot complete, that I'm at the point of just wanting to explode, right? There's too many things, right? I'm not going to say that this is what gets you to this point of paralysis, but it's overwhelm, really. It's the feeling of too many things all at once. So the easiest thing to do is to just shut down. This is what I think causes it, right? You guys can let me know your experience. And quickly go back to the notes. I'm gonna flip back and forth. And me personally, I have a negative relationship with time and with productivity, and with the way that I view productivity. And I feel like the past few days I haven't really been doing nearly as much as I could, and that is the truth. But really, every second that passes where I'm not in the pursuit of doing something that is important that I know I should be doing is a second that I regret. It's a second that I get upset at. It's a second that I wish I could have got back, because, life and death are, there for a reason. I get to live right now, but it's not forever. And it's a very scary thing for me to think that I'm wasting some of what I have here. And that is one thing that definitely drives up the anxiety level. I'll look at the clock and then I'll see a couple seconds, I'll see a minute, and I'll be like, how much longer am I going to waste not doing what I should be doing now? And then an hour will go by, 2, 3, 4. And then the feeling just compounds until it feels really bad when I'm not doing what I want, which is exactly why I had some plans tomorrow evening. I'm probably going to have to cancel because the anxiety, the feeling is just, I can't go out and do anything else other than deal with this. And Yeah, got to make sure that's dealt with. Whew. Gosh, guys. So the answer that my mind comes up with, just the way that I think and the way that things are, is okay. Well, if I'm feeling all of this anxiousness, this tingly feeling, the shortness of like all these symptoms, the one thing that seems to make them subside is getting productive, being active, going, okay, I'm gonna do as much work as I possibly can right now to help those feelings subside, and that seems to be the only antidote to that situation of worrying about things needing to be done, is taking one thing and then trying to do it the best that I can do. And then when it gets completed, then that feeling begins to subside a little bit. Okay, it's not completely gone because there's still a ginormous list of things, but getting something done on that list alone makes me feel just a little bit better, and the frustration I feel when I'm not able to do what I want, and I feel like I'm not in control of myself, not in control of what's next. It is a very it's a pretty bad feeling, because I think about life and everything that's happened so far, and nothing has really gone the way that I planned it, right? Things are constantly not going the way that I planned it, and just me not being able to get my shit together is just another thing that is not going right in my favor. So that alone, it's a very powerful negative reinforcement tool for me to kind of look at everything and then just be utterly disappointed when things continuously don't go the way that I want. And don't worry, guys, this video gets maybe a little bit more positive. But yeah, let's talk coping strategies. Coping. So when I get into that state of overwhelm, when I get into that state of there's just too much going on and I can't deal with it, what do I do? Well, I go, okay, well, this is just a lot of just discomfort. And if you can imagine, if you've had years and years and years and years of negative self-talk and negative reinforcement, all of it comes down all at once, and you feel it all at once. And that is I'm not going to say impossible. It's an extremely difficult task for you to detach from that and then just feel okay. Like you need to work on strategies to get over that, to calm yourself. Otherwise, you'll choose something to quell that feeling, something that makes you feel different or better. Other people have different ways of dealing with it. Some people do stress eating. They eat a lot of junk food. Maybe you play video games, whatever you do to get your mind off the stresses of real life. And for me, what I like to do is I just like to watch a bunch of brain mush and convince myself that it's still productive. If you remember in the last video, I talked about cognitive dissonance, this idea that you're going against the beliefs that you believe, right? So what I would do is I'll sit down and I'll open up like YouTube or any kind of video platform and I'll watch something educational, right? And then I'll be like, oh, that's so cool. I'm learning so much. I'm learning so much from watching this, to try and trick my brain into being able to sit down and just quiet itself, right? Because I'm so uncomfortable with having to face the reality of what my brain is thinking, what I'm actually dealing with in the moment, that I'm just grabbing at any straw I can to get out of that, right? So that is my main coping mechanism. It used to be food. It used to be eating the best and tastiest thing ever. And, of course, sometimes I still have that urge, but I'm a lot better when it comes to food for sure. But by far, one of the biggest ones and the ones that upsets me the most is just essentially zoning out, watching, and I want to try and keep myself as productive as possible, as focused as possible. And eventually I'll stop watching and I look at the clock and I'm like, I really shouldn't have done this. And making that same mistake over and over and over it feels almost unavoidable when you've done it enough. Like when you fuck up something repeatedly, you're like, I guess this is just what it is, right? That's where I'm kind of getting, because it's pretty difficult for me. But we'll talk about what I believe is a solution in a little bit. So, yeah, like that feeling of overwhelm, by the way, it's not something that just, oh man, everything's so bad, and then you just like crash, right? It's a buildup, right? It's a buildup of like, everything's felt like too much for a long time. And then one day you're just like, fuck everything, right? I can't do it. Because a few days prior to that, I was feeling extremely productive. I was getting a lot of stuff done and I was like, pretty proud of myself. And I was, dealing with the blows of life as they come. You know what I mean? Like my days weren't perfect before. I had a lot of things to worry about. I had a lot, but I was able to just swallow that and then just keep pushing forward. But eventually I just reached a point where I didn't want to push forward anymore. I just was like, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of doing all of these things, trying as hard as I'm trying, and then not really getting a result that feels like it's even worth it in the first place, right? It's like, I don't understand why I'm trying so hard. I don't understand why I'm pushing so hard. I don't understand, like, I'm getting a very negative feeling towards getting up and pushing. I'm just like, screw it. Like, why am I gonna push myself to do that, right? It's literally a point where my brain, whether or not I like to admit it, is saying, I do not want to work on this anymore. I don't want to work. I don't want to get up. I'm tired of this. And that side has won. That side has won, I don't want to say, for the past 3 days. And that's not to say that I haven't done anything productive. I've done some things, but not nearly enough to a point where I can feel okay about myself and my circumstance. But yeah. Sorry, give me a second. I gotta take a look at my notes because I want to keep on track. But yeah, like it essentially felt like my effort towards things I was doing in my life weren't very meaningful, and it felt like I was a slave to this world. Like I was a slave to life. I was a slave to just repetition, to doing the exact same things over and over and over with no actual change. And that was just, it's overwhelming. It's just such a, and I keep saying the word overwhelming. I keep describing it in all these different ways, but the feeling truly is remarkably terrible. It's very bad, right? Forgive me again. Okay. And here's where we get to kind of like the second point of the video, where we talk about what victim mentality is, right? It's victim mentality. And it's this idea that I cannot believe that so many things are not going right for me. What the fuck? This is some bullshit, right? Like I look up at the sky and I ask why I'm being forsaken. I'm like, why is all of this shit happening? Because I'll sit down and I'll be like, life, I look at myself and I go, life's already hard enough for a dude like me. And I go like, hey, just for me to get organized, to get myself together, to get to work, to have purpose, have meaning, and have drive, and get all that organized and do things, that was already like a big challenge for me. But a big challenge that I felt like I overcame. So I knew, okay, I do this, I focus, and when things go well, things go well. Right? I plan things out and they work. But what happens when things don't go to plan? What happens when there's hurdles? What happens when there's struggles? What happens when there is constant things getting in the way, constant hurdles? And that's why I started thinking, like, this is some bullshit, right? Like, this is stupid. I cannot believe, right? That's what I was feeling. Because I'm sitting there and I'm like, why the heck? Like, I'm trying, I'm not going to, like, sit here and, like, be like, oh, man, this is the worst. But it's like, I felt like I was trying so damn hard to do what I needed to do for me, the things that I need to do to be productive, to get my life in order. And there's just constantly shit just being thrown at me that were just making it exponentially harder for no reason. Like today, as an example, like my car just randomly just crapped out. I'm like, what the fuck? I spent like multiple hours trying to figure it out, talking to different mechanics about fixing it. And eventually I'm like, I just got to fix this shit myself. It's too fucking expensive. And I sat there and I just thought to myself, like, things like these have been happening on repeat for the past, I want to say 2 weeks. 2 weeks of just like shit that was out of my control, that's really bad, just happening. And I sit there and I think, why is this happening to me? Right? And that's where the victim mentality comes from. It's like, you cannot believe that life is throwing life at you. And the unfortunate truth is, you got to realize that, one, it could keep happening. It could happen even worse. There's so many things that can happen. And whenever you have a plan for how you think life is going to go and the way that things are going to go, when I think, and I'm being dead ass, I woke up at 4 a.m. one morning thinking, hey, I'm going to get a head start to my day so I can do some work. Do you know what fucking happened at 4 a.m.? Someone asked me for their help in my family and said, you have to help me because, and I was like, what the fuck? Right? I didn't get any time to myself until 12 o'clock that day. And I was just, that was another day of me feeling so pissed because I have this expectation of life that when I plan things, when I work hard, when I have a good mentality, when everything, that things are going to go according to plan. And I was visibly frustrated, and I think I was emotionally frustrated with the world, with people around me. They could probably feel that I was agitated because it's like this is like, how am I supposed to succeed right now when I'm constantly getting all these different interruptions with moving forward the way I want, right? So I was manifesting real anger, real upset feelings at life, and I need to work on just realizing that things will not go the way that I plan. I have a whole plan for the way I want tomorrow to go. There's certain things that are in my control that I know are going to be struggles for me, that I struggle with, okay? And I think I need to focus more on those things, because I'm still struggling with certain things, like waking up when I want to, doing as much work as I want. Like, it's all a struggle for various reasons, but when it comes to the outside shit, the car not working, my job not being what I want, and me being depressed about it. Okay, well, I can try and do something about it, but there's certain things that are just, I have to suck it up, and I have to just realize that life is going to be life, and it's very uncomfortable, and I'm sad, and I feel uncomfortable, and I have to accept these emotions and how much I really hate my circumstance, and just keep living. And here's where I'm going to get to the next part of the video, but I just want to double check to make sure I'm kind of going through, because I'm kind of spitballing. I didn't really go through my notes, but yeah, like it does really suck. It feels like I can't smile. There's nothing to be happy about, but again, there's something more positive I want to talk about near the end. But tasks themselves, like you get to this point where when you feel like you're overwhelmed by life, that nothing you do will really matter. And even if you do try your best, that it won't really have an actual positive effect. Or maybe you just feel exhausted mentally, right? Okay, yeah, let's get into the next part. I wrote a pretty fun line in my notes there. I thought I'd share with you guys. I said, I feel like I'm mining coal all day, but I never get to see the diamonds. I am a poet, clearly. So yeah, the last thing I want to talk about is gratitude, right? This is something you hear about all the time. Oftentimes when you're extremely depressed, sad, and you don't know what to do with life, and you're in this uncomfortable, anxious state, it seems like a bunch of bullshit. But truth be told, it's something that I think I need to practice daily with my own life. Just being grateful for things that I have, that exist. I can sit down here right now and I can find so many things to be sad, negative, depressed about. But equally so, I think I should spend time literally trying. I need to actively try and say, what is the positive? And I have to dig for it. I have to, dig through the dirt to see where the heck it is. Because if I can't see it right now, it's not just going to appear to me randomly. I'm not going to reach a point in life where things are going so good that everything's just going to be perfect. People have that expectation of life too, that it's like, hey, when I feel good, things will be good. Or they'll feel like when I reach a certain point or do a certain thing, that things will be good. And I don't think that this is an actual truth to life. I think it's more something like you need to accept life for what it is and can be, which is random and not always in your control. And then from there, just try and be as grateful as you can for your experience. I'm trying to do a lot of things right now. I desperately want to be a YouTuber someday, and I haven't really had time to edit, and that makes me sad. But, I can't sit here and tell myself that I'm only ever going to feel good or content about life if I am like at 1 million subscribers or something crazy. It's more that I want to feel content about me knowing that I wake up each day and I try my best. I try my best in life. This is, for me, what matters the most. And if I don't do it, then I need to figure out different strategies and work on things to keep moving forward and keep trying to express gratitude. So I'll say it in this video in case anyone gets it twisted. I am glad to be alive. I want to be alive. I love living. I love tasty food, talking to my friends every now and then, making videos, and talking to you guys. It is good, and as negative as things might seem, it's probably not all that bad. I don't know. Anyway, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video. It's going to be a not longer, it's going to be a shorter video, but it's going to be a lot more organized than this one. See ya. Peace.